Okay, good morning from Spain. So here's a few windows that I have here in the studio, all hand painted glass, vitreous paint. So it's forward, you know, it's permanent. Here's classic, kind of very classical 16th century influence. And then something, here's a piece I did in the first lockdown. It was just basically something that I had, that I always wanted to do and never got around to finishing it. So lockdown, the first lockdown gave me the opportunity to do this. Another window, it's lying around, open up for the details. Okay, and then the garden, overgrown, and we have Mr. House, doctor in the house. Always good to have a doctor in the house, isn't it? So as you can see, quite a lot you can do with glass paint. What else have we got? Reproductions. Oh, a bit of Harry Clark here going on, yeah. One of his faces. And then here's another one. Yeah. Oh. Oh. Details. Let's see what else we got. Oh, it's a Virgin Mary. Very typical here. Oh. Okay, so loads of paperwork, books, a window, a few windows. Take it down to the workshop from here. Okay, here's another light box with some details of stained glass windows that I've done. These are mainly leftovers or bits of pieces that I've used for jobs. Basically different techniques of shading and decoration used in the borders of stained glass, you know, on the decorative borders, and that's about it. Okay, this is another light box with a lot of anything on. Reproductions of some small Harry Clark faces. Got, yeah, Dr. House. Detail there. And then a kind of more loose approach to painting, like more modern approach. So there's words. So basically with the Saya, you can achieve so many different tones and depth. So it's almost like, painting, there's no limits to painting on glass. Okay, this is another window that I'm just finishing. This is going to be copper foiled, something that I don't do much copper foiling, for lamps and smaller stuff, but usually lead, but as you can see, details there in the face. Symbols of the zodiac. It's the 16th century zodiac, and especially this here. That's just nearly finished. Just the copper foil and solder, and then we move on to this is Saint Catherine. Yeah. Katharina. From a Harry Clark window, actually. Just you can see that he's got the details. Although it was probably painted originally by Richard King, who worked in Harry Clark's studio after Harry died as well. Okay. Okay, traditional glass painting. Basically, it's Rasaya or glass paint, which is just iron oxide and a flux like borax or lead. So basically, that's mixed with water and also gum arabic. Gum arabic comes in powder form or liquid form. It's basically a binding agent. Yeah. So it's like a kind of mild glue, natural glue, which will help, you know, that the glass will take the paint. So another few things: badger brush, an essential piece of equipment. If you're anyway serious about stained glass, you should have a few of these. And then basically just common bristle brushes, you know. These are for taking away paint, shading. Okay, so I'm gonna bring it to, we're gonna mat a piece of glass. So the glass has to be cleaned, because if you don't clean the glass well, the paint won't stick to or won't stay on the glass. So I'm just going to give a quick clean, but it's already I've cleaned it before, degreased it, and basically I'm going to take the Hague brush. It's used for quite a lot of ceramics as well. This just spreads out the paint and getting the right consistency. So I'm going to apply it, these lines, not too thick, not too thin. I'll find the midpoint, and we're going to blend it with the use of the badger. Take it down, follow the lines. Across, trying to get it as evenly smooth as possible. This is basically just a background, base coat to help with the paint. Actually, that's it. And we're going to be placing it on top of the drawing. Very traditional, typical face. So that will have to be dried, or we can, you know, accelerate the process with something like a hairdryer. And basically, it's a good idea also to make another kind of sample. This will help you to work with, you know, so you can test basically what way the paint is and how it reacts rather than messing up your original artwork. Okay. Okay, so we've got this paint dried, and we're going to start to take out the light. So we could use these bristle brushes, and we just start taking out the high points. So you just find out where your light force is coming from. Work back to the drawing. Sometimes to run your finger over the grape to come out and see the scum. It's supposed to be the skin, so the skin has to be broken. Slowly. Open those back slowly. Yeah, patience. Well, there are techniques that look at the numbers, but take your time. Yeah, I think this is called the bridge. Support. Quite a lot to keep you balanced. These are factor health and safety. A lot of these paints, this one in fact is lead free, so but you should always wear a mask. Be very cautious about drinking. You could see you smoke it. Not a good idea. Smoke. Any dust is not good for definitely lead. Okay, so we were saying the lead is very dangerous, but okay, so yeah, for more details coming in there and the way we want it. Okay. Okay. Okay, just one thing about the test piece. So I'm going to do the same on the test piece so that we have a reference and basically something we can work on. Hopefully does it, and basically we can put the lines into it and use that as a test for our paint. Okay. That's about it. Okay, right, with that, the shades, the highlights taken out, we're ready to move on to mixing a black trace, because we're going to start now on the most blackest lines. So, move over to the paint. You know, the paint again comes in powder form, but I'll get into the habit of mixing it the day before, the night before, so you have it, you know, nothing worse than running out of paint. But basically, if you start a job and you want it to be the same colour, the same consistency, so I mix up quite a lot, you know. Better looking at it than looking for it, as they say. Okay, so right, I'm gonna reduce this a bit to right. Found myself another Hague, because basically this is the one I'm fond of, but seeing its days. Okay, so we want to look for the consistency, you know. We're going to mix the paint down a bit, open the paint, and basically just find the consistency. Again, I used gum arabic for this paint, you know, to give that, you know, staying power, or basically that it, you know, stays firm on the glass. So, you know, the paint has to be worked a little bit. It's so important, you know, to prepare your paint so that you know, you've got this flow. I'll explain about the brushes as well, because, you know, nothing worse than, you know, your paint not flowing. So we're just going to break the paint down. Yeah, so see the paint starting to open a bit, you know. Slowly adding a little bit more water. Not too much, you know, it starts to cool. Okay, so do some changes. See that? Okay. It doesn't really need that much. Just a good palette knife. Okay, so mixing your paint, you know, you could spend 10 minutes in the morning getting your paint ready, well more, but you know, work your paint, you know, the consistency that you're going to be working in. We're looking for flowing line and a dark line, okay? So as dark as you can keep it, you know, and paint will flow. These are a few brushes, these are natural hair brushes. So, you know, you want to get the paint onto your brush. So this is a process in itself. I'm going to heat the brush, well not heat the brush, really start to see if the paint flows. Just adding a bit more water. Just loading the brush, you know, the brush has to be loaded. Let's see what the direction is. test piece. And just see how it spreads. Okay. So I'm going to go for the darkest points here. So I don't get my head in it. Looking for these curves that are flowing. Yeah. And you know, the brush will do thick to thin and flow. So you can continue that line on. And again. And again. And then the black. So yeah, the paint looks good. And we could go with that on the rear piece. Just use this basically as a thing to warm up. Okay, so we're ready to paint. Don't like this. Okay. Right. Ready to paint. Change my brush now here to a thinner, smaller measurements, so I can get in on these smaller lines. And so I'm starting to get to the finer details. Yeah, so just following all the lines around. Yeah. Okay. Finally, now we're the thinnest brush, or a thinner brush anyway. Just bringing out these lines. Fine. And not so opaque. So I continue painting along. And reconfirming some of the lines. Okay, so. Okay, and I'll start taking out some highlights now with just basically a point of a stick, and basically peeling back some of these fine lines, and then touching up on the eyes and that, and I continue down through the beard and so on. Okay, so we just finished off cleaning up little bits and pieces, and this is completely dry now, the paint, so we can cut into it and, you know, just clean up areas that, you know, we see that can be changed or better. And okay, so next up would be, we're going to mat this again. So rather than making a big mistake, we're going to do it on the test piece. So I've prepared up some, it's just brown paint. I'm getting at the consistency, you know, that it's not, if I can make this, it's not too wet. You just really have to look the way it stays. Okay, so depending on the density, the darker or the thinnest. Okay, but right, this is the test, so I'm going to go a little bit darker than normal and just see. Okay, so I apply that very quickly and lightly, and now we'll come back with the Badger brush, the Badger, and we can do a bit of stippling if you like. Okay, and maybe if you wanted to do hairlines, okay, but it depends on what way you want to see that finished. Okay, right, so that was the test piece. So we're going to do the same to the rear piece. So we have to get the paint ready again. And try and find that medium where it's not. There we go. See that? Very important. Okay. So bring this over here and try to that down a bit. It's a bit too wet. Okay. Okay, so ready to go. Start down. covering all the surface and now lightly battering in. You see that? Oh, batter. And there we go. So there we have it. Another mat. Just dip it back some areas of it. And there we go. Okay, we'll just let that dry. Okay, this is going to be a fast one, quick and fun, hopefully. So you can see that some of these pieces not taking the paint that well, but I don't mind really. This small experiment, bring this up, bit of movement. Yeah, okay. The extra paint. A few lines. Okay. Don't know, maybe a bit of a boat here. I'm really just basically painting. I'm just painting. Okay, so blend again. So the last demo might have been a bit over technical. This is just basically something very simple and easy, whatever, you know, playing with the paint and just seeing where it goes really. Okay, I'm gonna blast. Disaster strikes. Okay. Dry off now. And as I say, this is I'm just basically winging it. That's not really what I want. So, going through. Okay, line for this. Or not. Okay, I'm going to apply a flat matte here on this one. So I'm going to darken the overall window, or when it's the image of the face. So I'm applying a coat of black trace or grasaya. So I take my badger brush, and the badger is just for blending, and you can do an awful lot with badger, but in this case I'm going to try and blend and get a uniform kind of blend in general, and then take out the lights, the highlights. So nearly there. A bit of stippling. And just to let that dry a little bit, you know. So you can also use a hairdryer, yeah, and just accelerate the process a little bit. And then back to stippling. So I take out these highlights, yeah? You can see that those highlights start to come through. And here on the neck as well should be a little bit more. And then just want to blend. Smaller pieces, eyes, and maybe some detail on the crown, the corona, crown, and then slightly bring through some more details on the dress and that. And that's basically it for now.